What's going on, everybody? Jeff Rieger, another episode of the Daily Ticket. This one for the 24th of June. It's a Monday at 6:24. Little fun with numbers. That do anything for you? Yeah, probably not. I didn't think so. Anyway, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I am very sorry to report that I am no closer to finding out the future of the Daily Ticket today than I was the last time we spoke. Hopefully the Daily Ticket lives. I'll keep doing it twice a week. Maybe it dies. Like I've said many times, it's like we're in hospice. We're waiting to figure out if we live or die. I do anticipate, no matter what the future of this podcast is, to do some episodes during football season. Even if we get canceled, I have the power to come on every now and then and give you a podcast via the audio or through YouTube. So I do anticipate doing some of that. But as far as getting back to an everyday Monday through Friday type deal, I don't know. I hope that happens, but not really holding my breath, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I do want to talk about the big news of the weekend, though. And the big news of the weekend was on Friday. For the first time in months, the Detroit Pistons decided to finally have a press conference for their new president of basketball operations, Trajan Langdon. And this, of course, was after Monty Williams was officially fired earlier last week. Tom Gores, the owner of the Pistons, paid Monty $65 million to go away. And see, this is why you don't beg a guy to come be your coach. I remember telling Wojo, who I do the radio show with, when Monty was brought in, that I'm not comfortable begging a man to coach my basketball team. And that's exactly what it was. Tom Gores, you can give him credit for getting the deal done, but Monty was an awful coach here. He was. Now, I understand he's got personal things going on in his life, and he's a very nice man. But when it comes to basketball, last season, they won 14 games. They went on a 28-game skid. It was embarrassing. And Monty did not do anything to help himself. In fact, I kind of feel Monty was trying to get fired. Which, by the way, why wouldn't you? Because he got paid $65 million to walk away, and he gets another $20 million from the Suns when Matt Ishbia fired him as well. So that's $85 million not to coach basketball. But Monty, along with the Pistons, were awful last year. How many times did the Pistons lead in a game that Monty brought in the old bench team? The old bench rotation. And next thing you know, the lead was gone. The Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey saga. He played Hayes early on, stunted the growth of Jaden Ivey. It made absolutely no sense. Eventually, they got rid of Killian Hayes. Remember, Troy Weaver released him, said he couldn't shoot, even though when he was drafted, he said he drafted the kid because he could shoot. It was a total fiasco. Last year was totally embarrassing, and it was capped off by the 28-game losing skid. And listen, Gores did what he had to do. When he tells you no the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time, and then takes to the podium at his own press conference and says, yep, I came here for the money, then maybe you shouldn't have hired Monty Williams. But I want to talk about the press conference of Trajan Langdon because it was embarrassing. However, let's start with Monty. Tom Gores on buying out Monty Williams for $65 million. How difficult was that decision? Take a listen.
$5 million.
Yeah.
Do you, any regrets there?
This is true. But no, you can't, when you have to adjust, you adjust. This franchise means everything to me. And so it's not like I didn't think about it for a second, but it was the right thing has to survive, and I think it was the right move for all of us, including Monty. And but it's not like I didn't think about it at all. It's significant. We have to hire new people, all that stuff. So, but I think we just always got to do the best thing for the franchise.
So that was Tom Gores on buying out Monty Williams and firing him. We still don't know whose decision it was. Tom says it was his. I'm sure it was more than likely Trajan's decision to fire him. And then Tom just pretty much told him, paid him to go away. And that's where we are. But the press conference was bad. The Pistons were an hour late to their own press conference. Now, it's not like Tom Gores, as an owner, hasn't already been super embarrassing for a historical, traditional organization like the Pistons that have 3 championships. Gores has run this team into the ground. He bought the team back in 2011 for $325 million. Team is now worth an estimated $3.1 billion. So he's happy because his team is now a hell of a lot more valuable than it ever was. But since Gores has taken over, I mean, this blows me away. How many head coaches do you think he's hired? And he's about to hire another one. We don't know who that's going to be. The answer is 6. Lawrence Franks, Maurice Cheeks, John Lawyer, Stan Van Gundy, Dwayne Casey, Monty Williams. And by the way, some of those were good coaches that totally failed here because I got to believe the fish rots from the head down and Tom Gores is an awful owner. How many executives do you think Tom has hired? 5. Stan Van Gundy, Jeff Bauer, Ed Stefanski, Troy Weaver, and now Trajan Langdon. The Pistons, under Tom Gores, have not won a playoff game. The Pistons, under Tom Gores, has gone to 2 playoff series. The Pistons, under Tom Gores, are 343 and 654. The Pistons, under Tom Gores, have won less than 20 games the last 2 seasons. 17 2 years ago, 14 last year. It's been an absolute, utter, colossal fucking failure. An embarrassment. And the people of Detroit, Piston fans, they deserve a hell of a lot better than they've been given. So now they're thinking, okay, we finally got it right. We hired a president of basketball operations in Trajan Langdon. And by the way, everything I'm about to say has nothing to do with Langdon, the Alaskan assassin, when he played at Duke. I think Trajan Langdon came off as very professional, and I hope Trajan Langdon can fix this thing, but it's going to take a long time, and he's got a ton of work to do, and I have no idea how he actually is going to do it. But this podcast is the failures of Tom Gores. And again, if you want to set a new tone in Detroit, this time they're really different, okay? Then maybe, just maybe, show up for your press conference on time. It was unbelievable on Friday. I was there, and I'm going to play you some cuts, okay? And I got to talk to Gores one-on-one as well. But they called the press conference for 3:30. They didn't show up until 4:30. That is utterly disrespectful to the people that actually, showed up on a Friday afternoon. Like, how do you not get fired up? It just speaks to the incompetence that is the Detroit Pistons. So did they even apologize? When they finally got there, and the media and employees of the Pistons were waiting for an hour, here's how it started. I mean, if this doesn't tell you, hey, we're really competent, I don't know what does. Take a listen.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, let me apologize for the lateness here. Had a little bit of a traffic issue coming from a different place today. Grozeal, despite having the retired fire chief in our entourage, still couldn't beat the traffic around. So apologize for the lateness here and appreciate everybody's patience. Let me get semi-organized here.
Mark didn't expect an introduction.
Sorry?
You did not expect an introduction.
No, I did not expect an introduction.
So he's getting organized.
I'm going to introduce myself.
Yes.
Let's do that. I'm Mark Barnhill. I'm Tom Gores' longtime business partner.
So that's how the press conference started. Nobody was ready to do a press conference. They were an hour late. Apparently, Grozeal traffic was very, very difficult to maneuver through. It's not like anybody there wasn't caught in traffic or had to deal with traffic. Nope. The billionaire and the Pistons, they were late to their own press conference by an hour. I'm sorry. You might not think that's a big deal, but I think that's utterly embarrassing. Utterly pathetic. But it got worse. At least I think it got worse. Because Trajan Langdon, I think, can do a great job. Trajan Langdon came off as professional. Say hi to Olive.
Hi.
Okay, can I finish this? And we're going to go to the driving range.
Maybe.
Okay. Any message for the people?
Bye, poop.
Great. Okay.
I'm calling my daddy that, not you.
All right. I don't even know what I was saying. All right. So Trajan Langdon takes this job, and I wonder why he took this job. I think he took it because it was one of 30. And he did mention it's always been his dream to run one of these professional teams, right? So I'm not so sure he's fallen in love with the idea of working with Tom Gores or not. He wasn't really asked that, not like he's going to answer it. But Tom Gores just kept going on and on. And it was rambling. It was at times a little tough to follow, incoherent, maybe not the word, but you could understand what he was saying. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, it was ridiculous. Tom talked for like 10 minutes before Trajan got a chance to talk. I just want to play you just a little snippet of that, okay? Because by the way Trajan Langdon accepts the mic, if you will, from Tom Gores, does this seem like a guy that's excited to be working with his new boss, Gores? Like, I think Trajan Langdon thought to himself, I can do this job. The only problem is a hurdle's going to be Tom Gores because everybody else has failed under Gores. I hope Langdon is different for myself, for you, for the Piston fans everywhere. But man, oh man, that is a massive hurdle to jump over while you're trying to rebuild a team that is in shambles. But this is a little bit of a taste of Gores handing the mic over to Trajan Langdon. And by Langdon's response, do you think he's really impressed with his boss, Tom Gores? Take a listen.
I'm very excited to have Trajan. He has all the qualities that I look for. Not in a basketball man, but as a leader. I think Trajan can do basketball, no problem. I think Trajan also has the skills to run a steel company. You don't have to.
I don't want to.
So Trajan, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very proud to announce our president here, introduce our president. I know that's a hard word. I've said it to you 5 times. I look at your face. But the president of basketball and your family, Trajan, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, Tom, I'd have to admit I've never had an introduction like that before, so thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your confidence and your belief in me. I've also never ended an interview or a meeting at 4:30 in the morning either, so thank you for that, too. That was definitely a test of my will and confidence, so.
Trajan Langdon literally looked a tad mortified. Like, this is my boss? So, again, this isn't anything negative about Langdon. He's to be given a chance. Hopefully, he'll do a great job. He is literally undertaking a very difficult situation. But I have no idea why this continues to happen. Why do they allow Tom Gores to say anything? Gores talked about how his own daughter said, hey, Dad, write a letter and just read the letter at this press conference. And then at one point, Tom Gores is like, yep, I'm off the letter now. I'm just ad-libbing. So, did you see the press conference? Did you listen to 97 Won the Ticket? Do you believe that was a real reassuring thing for a fan base of a team that has kicked them in the groin year after year and game after game? I'd say probably not. I mean, there was a lot of dysfunction. It was a microcosm of the dysfunction that are the Detroit Pistons. But I got more for you. So, Tom Gores, I give him a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit on one account. Unlike other owners in our city or even just around sports, with the exception of maybe Jerry Jones, Tom Gores stuck around and answered every question that people had for him. So I give him a lot of credit for that. I really do. So I had a couple questions for him. I wonder, how angry is Tom Gores? How angry is he that a billionaire that has been successful in every other facet of his life, for the life of him, cannot succeed in the NBA as an owner of the Pistons? And furthermore, the team has been an embarrassment since he's taken over. So I asked him, take a listen.
How angry are you that since you've been owner, you haven't succeeded? And I mean, different coaches, and you guys lead the league in losing, and your reputation around the league, not yours specifically, but the team's reputation is kind of embarrassing. Like how much does that anger you?
Well, I'm frustrated. If I'm not really angry, I just disappointed that I haven't pleased the fans. You know, they deserve more, and I understand that. So sometimes when I get frustrated, I just work harder, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work hard, and if you know me by now, like, I'm not gonna give up, and I think we have something here to, build on. So I'm just gonna do my best and channel whatever frustration I have into the future.
All right, so I give him credit. He answered the question. Not angry, but he's frustrated. But it doesn't change the fact that so many people think that Tom Gores is an absentee owner, doesn't go to the games, doesn't care about the team. I mean, look how he handled that 28-game losing game. It took forever to hear from the owner. And when he finally talked, it was in the middle of the night on a Friday to just the beat writers over Zoom from his mansion in LA. And he said stuff like, yeah, Troy's going to get us out of this. Troy, of course, is since fired. He said stuff like, we're 2 weeks ahead of you guys. We know what's going to happen. We're going to try to salvage this season. They won 14 freaking games. The Boston Celtics that won the championship won 16 playoff games. The Pistons won 14 regular season games. Tom Gores at every turn has not handled anything right, other than like throwing T-shirts to the fans. That's kind of cool, I guess. But it's just been so bad. The organization is an afterthought in the NBA. They might as well be a college basketball team, like a D3 college basketball team at that. So I asked him about it. He even said at the podium himself that people think he's detached. I think he is detached. So I asked him, take a listen.
You talked about some people think you're detached from this organization at the podium. Mm-hmm. Could you share, like, just how passionate you are about this franchise that you own? I think some of the fans wonder whether you don't show up, or, people were chanting "sell the team" earlier, and I'm sure you didn't take kind to that. Like, what are the emotions that go through you when people question, I guess, your passion for this?
No, I appreciate the question. Passion doesn't always show up at, like, when you're at the game and stuff. Like, obviously, I'm extremely passionate, and it's about doing the big things for the team when it's necessary. My, meetings over the last month with Trajan, and also, a whole slew of executives. I'm game time. I'm game time when this organization needs me. So I don't look at I think it'll be more understood when we start to win. I don't expect anybody to just think I'm great because I say I care. Like, I have to put the results on the table with wins and so on. But I'll just tell you, like, of course, I've had probably 50, I've had probably 50 meetings or so, just on getting the right person. So I've learned that, people will think what they think, and you just got to show some results and go from there.
All right, so there you go. I asked him the question. He answered the question. I don't know if he has swayed anybody's opinion. I don't know if he's convinced you that he cares about his organization. It's so bad when you look at how embarrassing the Pistons have been. Do you believe this signifies a change? Do you believe Trajan Langdon will be the guy that gets you back to glory, or at least to the postseason? Or do you believe, like I believe, that the fish rots from the head? And Tom Gores is a bad owner. And he might be an absentee owner, too. He might be a detached owner. And I'm sorry, dude. We got 13 years of evidence, a track record, that under Tom Gores, the Pistons have been an embarrassment. I'm sorry, but I don't expect anything to change. I don't. But what about you? Trajan Langdon comes with great experience. He's had success every stop he's been at, and now he undertakes the toughest job of his lifetime to bring the Pistons back to respectability. You think it happens? Or do you agree with me that as long as Tom Gores is the owner of this basketball team, it won't? Here's the other thing. Wojo, the guy I do the radio show with, he asked Tom Gores, like, who's got the autonomy? Does Trajan Langdon make all the basketball decisions? And Tom Gores said, yes, I'm not making the decisions. But here's the deal. The one guy that is still in this organization and has been in this organization, and by the way, Trajan Langdon was one of his clients when he was playing basketball, is Owner Tom. Owner Tom works for Tom Gores, and we're led to believe that Owner Tom is the voice in Tom Gores' head. He's his advisor, he's his counsel, and Owner Tom's son has a position with the Pistons as well in the organization. Owner Tom is thought to be the guy giving Tom so much bad advice and so much bad counsel. And guess who's still in the organization? That's right, Tom. So until he's gone, things might not change. So maybe it's Tom, maybe it's Gores, maybe it's the combination, but I expect as long as things stay status quo, things will unfortunately be bad for your Detroit Pistons. Here's the thing. Tom Gores said over and over and over again that they're changing everything. But they're not, because Tellem is still employed with the Pistons. So what do you think? Are we going to start seeing some winning basketball sooner rather than later? Or do you agree with me that you're afraid it's more of the same and nothing will change? Now, will they be 14 win bad? Maybe not. But how much better are they going to be? And when's that going to happen? So, listen, I don't think it sets a great first impression, or at least a great impression that you intend to change when you show up an hour late for your press conference. I can't get over it. So that's the Daily Ticket. We've already talked for too long today. We'll do comments on Thursday. Hopefully on Thursday, I got some news as well on if the Daily Ticket lives or if it dies. We'll let you know. All right, guys, been a pleasure as well. Let me know in the comment section, do you believe Trajan Langdon is going to turn around the Pistons? Or will it be more failure by a Tom Gores-owned basketball team? Let me know.